Okay. So how is this? Yes. Okay. Let me turn down that. We'll turn down that. Okay. so, I am on here this morning really to practice my Yoruba or Yoruba. Yoruba is how I say it. I am not 100% correct on how it should be said, but a it is a language from Nigeria, um, and I am trying to learn it am, because I practice Ifa, which is a spirituality, a cosmology, a way of living and divination, um, to align oneself with one's destiny. And this is something that has been practiced in southern Nigeria, Benin, and parts of Togo, and parts of Benin too, for thousands of years, passed down from father to son, grandfather to grandson, mother to daughter, grandmother to granddaughter, and crisscross this information. There are kids who, from the very beginning of age, are tapped to be spiritual leaders and train as such for their whole lives, starting very young. So my involvement in this spirituality is because, of course, the Atlantic slave trade. What happened then is that, the spirituality and religious aspects came along with the Africans who were stolen, from their land, and moved throughout the Caribbean, and into, the countries around there. And what ended up happening is that the some of the Yoruba Orisha, like Yamaya, or Yamonja, Yamoja. Um, Either way, she is the Orisha of oceans or major waterways. Um, she's the mother of the Orishas. Um, and as such, the crossing of the Atlantic, and other places in the Caribbean, she was venerated as such. Now, when you hit places like Cuba, Cuba then practices La Regla de Ocha, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not, but it's Santeria. Um, basically and then Brazil, they have their own Ubuntu and Candomblé, and I don't know how to say that. I'm probably butchering that too. But what I'm trying to say is that all these that branched off are their base and their root is rooted in Ifa, which is the original, the OG, of the uh, of the of the diaspora that's spread around the Caribbean and the Atlantic. So, in Ifa, there are things called orikis, which are um, praises to, like, Odus and to Orishas. Um, so I am going to start off by, just practicing some uh, Yoruban words. And by the way, I am not great at this. I don't know the tonality. Um, it is read like poetry, and its tonality is like poetry, but I don't have the accent marks. and it's hard for me sometime to use those marks. Like the dot under the S, I know is she, so or sh. So when you see ISESE, it's a she. I think, yeah, a she, a sheshe, a sheshe, a she. Um, so we're gonna start off with just a just a general greeting. It's like Ifamope, 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 and that means wisdom of nature. I am greeting you. Um, you know. So, and then we are going to read a morning prayer to my Orisha, one of my Orishas, and that is Oya. Oya is the Orisha of winds, mighty winds, and transformation. Um, she is a fierce protector of women, um, a guardian of children, as she birthed nine. Um, she is around whenever quick transformation happens. Um, so if Hey Ginger, thanks for coming in. This is early morning. I know you can't see my face, and that's fine. I'm just talking shit on here. I'm actually just talking about Yoruba and my Orisha, and just practicing how it sounds. And like I said, I am no mean by no means an expert. I am really just a beginner. So yeah, with Oya comes sudden change, sudden transformation. But what happens is the path becomes clear, so your true calling or your true nature shows instead of what was hidden, you know. So it is with a morning prayer, or something I would say Orisha Oya, but I would say Iya Oya. And the reason why I would say Iya Oya is because it's Mother Oya. Orisha Oya is just Orisha Oya. So Orisha, so I would say Iya Oya, and I would say it 3 times, and sometimes I'll say it 9 times, because nine is Oya's number, associated with the 9 children, and associated with the 9 tributaries that run into her river in Nigeria. Um, so let's see. Orisha Oya Iya Mi Agbara Alakbara. Okay, so Iya Mi Alakbara Mopeo Luni Funmini Abara Funmini Ashe Ki Ibukun Re San Surime Ashe Ashe Ashe. Now, like I butchered many of those words in there, and that is too bad. So let me pop up on one of these. Let's see. Um, OOC, left hand palm, Evo Orun, offering to the spirit realm, Ori, spiritual head or destiny, Mope Ia Oya, Mope Ia Oya. I call upon Mother Oya. Hi Stacy. Hi Ginger. How you doing? I already said hi to y'all. So Mope Ia Oya, Mope Ia Oya, Mope Ia Oya. Um, and I will, like, generally I'll start my mornings. I have excuse me. I have to take the dog out every morning. So he usually wakes me up between 5 and 7. Today it was 6:30, so we went for nice little walkies. He did the do, and I came back in, took my medication, and fed him. And then I came into my room with my altar, and this is what I do most mornings. I kind of got out of the habit after surgery, so I'm getting back into the habit. Um, but every morning now I meditate for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's not much. And listen, I'm neurodivergent. Like my brain just goes ping, 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 ping. So actually sitting down and meditating for me looks different than a neurotypical brain. Whereas people can kind of clear their thoughts and not and maybe focus on maybe just their breath. I can focus on my breath, but then there are thoughts that come in that I have to let come in, and then I have to let roll out. And excuse me, I'm so sorry. And that may be something that is not just a neurodivergent brain. That could be something where that happens for everybody. Anyway, so I have an Odoo, and the first thing is the Odoos. There are 16 major Odoos, and these are pathways of life and divinatory ways of life. You have a priest of Ifa or a priestess of Ifa, and they do the divination and the sacrifice and all this other stuff for the client. Um, um, the priest is called a Babalawo, and I just shortened it to Baba. So I have a Baba, and um, the what would be called the woman version of it is Ianifa or Ianifa. So I say Ianifa. Um, and that is basically a priestess of Ifa. Back to what I would do in the morning, and this is how I do it. Just about every morning, I use a little salt, and I'm leaving out some stuff because some stuff can't be said, but I use a little salt and you know go wash my hands with salt and water because that's pretty standard across a lot of spiritual actions is to use the salt and water. Salt purifies, water cleanses. You bless the salt and the water, and you use that to clean your hands spiritually, meaning that, hey, Kimmy Wynn, what's up, girl? What's up? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, but you use the salt water to cleanse your hands, spiritually cleansing your body and your mind for whatever you're getting ready to do. So the um, the water, so on and so forth, and then I say something which is kind of asking my Orisha, to bless me greatly and abundantly. It's also a way to straighten my Ori, and the Ori is your inner head. So when you think of the head, you think, of course, of your physical head. The inner head is um, your destiny, your your push, your belief system, the way you live your life, uh, the consciousness, the breathing, the living, the spiritual aspect of this, not the physical. Anyway, let's go back to it. In the morning, and then I would say something like this: Ori Agba Lonja Fun Agba Ori Aluko Aja Fun Aluko Ori Mi Waja Fun Mi O. And that basically, like I said, asks the Orisha to come down, bless me greatly and abundantly, and also asks that my head stays on right, meaning like that I am spiritually strong and tight, you know, instead of instead of my usual bravado and braggadocio. Braggadocio, is that the right word? I am not sure. Um, so let's see, what else can I read? I have all this stuff sitting here that I want to read. Um, but I'm trying to figure out what I can read. Okay, maybe I can read this. This is called let's see. Yeah. So it's called Ejogbi, and it is the first of the 16 principal Odu in the Ifa divination system. It symbolizes beginnings, expansion, and truth. So, in the cultural construct and context, uh, Ejogbi or Ejogbi is regarded as the opening verse of creation. So, pretty powerful there. This is the space where existence and consciousness first emerge. It is often associated with the dawn of life, illumination, and the continuous flow of Ashe. So when you hear people say Ashe, it's not just some word that you throw out. It's not a word that says, um, it's not just one of those fake words. Ashe carries with it a spiritual energy that is loaded. So you have to say, and when you say Ashe, usually say it 3 times. So it's Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. And it could be spelled ASE. So people say Ase, 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 but usually there's an accent on the E, and or an X or a little dot under the S, and that little dot under the S makes it a sh, so ashe. Or people will spell it ASHE, so ashe. But it's ashe, ashe, ashe. Um, so, as the most expansive of the 16 Odu and the actual 256 Odu, it reflects the principle of potential made manifest. So that's something powerful. It reflects where destiny begins to unfold. Ijogbi teaches that the importance of honesty, integrity, and upright character, for it is through truth that humans align with their Ori, which is their inner head, their destiny, and the wider order of the universe. Practitioners turn to Ijogbi or Ijogbi for insight on beginnings, growth, and the establishment of balance in life. Now, the divination part for me, since I am, just brand spanking new, and I am learning from a Baba who is in, who uses a slightly different way of doing things, because I am new, and so I use Kola Nut, which I can get like in African Mart. Um, I haven't seen it anywhere else. Maybe like an International Food Mart, maybe, but I have not seen it in the grocery store. Like I know you can't just get it in a grocery store. That's not going to happen. I will go ahead and get. I'll have to go to the African Mart and get it. I also have to get palm oil from the African Mart. And if you've ever had palm oil, then it's, and I hate to say this, but it's disgusting. And it's red, but when you touch it, your skin becomes yellow, and it stays yellow. It stains everything, but it is an important part of the system of Ifa. So, um, for it is through truth that humans align with both their Ori and wider order of the universe. Practitioners turn to Ijobi for insight into growth and the establishment in the beginning of life. So Ijogbi is also what I consider the sun. It's expansion. It is the beginning. It is like it said. It is like potential made manifest. So there is an oriki, and an oriki is just a praise, or yeah, it's like a praise chant or a praise song. And so I'm going to read this, and like I said, it's not 100. So if there's anybody on there that knows Yoruba or Yoruba, y'all need to just correct me, and that'll be great. So it goes Ijobi ten Geber Walida, Ijobi Olodi Odu, Maso Ile Medi Eo. And that basically means Ajogbi brings all success. Ajogbi is the head of the great Odus. Don't turn my house into a forbidden place. Bless me every day of my life. Um, yeah. So when you do it right and when you're fluent in this language, it sounds beautiful. It's like poetry, and actually that's what it is, because it's made up of parables, and proverbs. Excuse me. When I say proverbs, I don't necessarily mean proverbs from the Christian Bible, because you have to understand that this spirituality predates Christianity by thousands of years, thousands of years. And you will not find a lot of this online. So you can search for Ifa and you will find general information. However, I guarantee you, if you start looking for divinatory nature, if you start looking for Odu type stuff, like what does this Odu mean and what does that Odu mean, you're going to get the wrong information. I mean, it's just absolutely the wrong information. You need a Baba or an Ianafa or an Awo, anyone initiated into Ifa, who can explain exactly what's going on, and how this works. And the excuse me. The other thing is you have to be initiated. It is not a spirituality where you can just be like, oh, I can practice and I'll just do this and that. It does not work like that. Just like hoodoo, which is a black American, you have to be initiated into hoodoo. And it is a African American spirituality or practice. Hoodoo is. You cannot be white or any other color and practice hoodoo. That's it. Just doesn't work, because the blood of the land is black people, and that's hoodoo. So, but also Ifa. Now Ifa is a lot more generous in allowing all sorts of people, and all sorts of ethnicity, all sorts of ethnicities, by necessity, because of the Atlantic slave trade. Um, so when you have people in Brazil practicing, and people in Cuba, people in Dominican Republic, and people in Haiti, and it just goes on and on and on and on, to where it hit the United States, and now Miami and Atlanta's got a house of Osun, which I've kind of looked up. And I think it's called the House of Yeye. Um, and yeah, oh, yeah, 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 oh, but that I tried to contact them once and they never returned my call, so I was just like, all right, cool. you know I just can't deal with that. Um so um i i dropped off on that one. Let me just read a couple of words here. We're going to drop into some words. So sun is Orun, moon is Osupa, night is Ale, Ale like ale. Um, let's see, Fun mi ni akara, let's give me the strength. Fun mi ni ashe, give me divine authority and power. Hibukun i masan, Lordy me, may your blessings flow upon me. Uh-huh. So, anyway, Ifa is one of those things there. Divination works by using um, palm nuts, cola nuts, um, cowrie shells, which is what I use. Um, and there, I can't tell you much more than that, but I use calories, and basically what you do is there's some stuff you do beforehand, and then you do two throws, and I'm using a different number of calories than would be normal, because you gotta sink before you can swim type of thing. And using calories is a powerful way of doing divination anyway. So we don't want to make anything go sideways. Um, so but my I've been working on my divination, and it's getting better and better. And what I'm doing is, so I as a child of Oya and Oshun, I have been initiated. Um, this is something that I've been working with my Baba for a while now. It is something where I have to remember to hold myself to a higher standard. Now, that doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else. That doesn't mean that at all, and I'm not saying I am. It just means that within myself, I need to hold myself to a higher standard, and I need to remember that because it's hard. Sometimes I don't. Um, Find something, you have to know someone, or find someone authentic and person of color. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Usually a black person, usually an African person. And usually a Nigerian, a Southern Nigerian, because in parts of Nigeria, of course, the dominant religion is Christianity, and Islam. Um, but in southern Nigeria, and in folky magic, and divination, Ifa is the big one. I this is what I practice. I've done a lot of what's up, Skeets? Skeets? Um, Skeets? Oh, come on now. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna do my pitch changes right now because that's some crazy shit. But I'm gonna do some of this. Anyway, okay. So let me go back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, Ifa. Divination. It's a divinatory system, but it also uses astrology, astronomy, maths. Language, of course, parables, proverbs, um, sacrifices. Now, this is where this is where I may have a problem. Um, and the reason for that is when I left the church at 16, my idea was to find within spirituality, not religion, spirituality, a place that I could see myself. What I found out over the following years is that I am one who takes a little bit from here and a little bit from there. Now, that doesn't mean I'm breaking the rules. What it means is I study the spirituality. It started off with Wicca, and then it went on to general paganism, and then it went on to um, British traditional witchcraft, where I was initiated into an Alexandrian. Coven and a line that goes straight to Alexander's, which leads to Gerald Gardner in the Black Forest Coven. I then um, hopped over to with with Alexandrian witchcraft, there is a lot of high magic, so ceremonial magic, which yes, I did, and then Egyptian work, yes, and just kept on shooting around, and then I would work by myself and create my own rituals and so on and so forth. I knew how to draw energy and create energy. Well, not create energy, but draw energy down and to create an energy cone, and a protection uh, bulb bulb or ball around me, which I can still do, I do. The one funny thing is that in Ifa, they do not believe in crystal use, but, like, in other parts of the world, crystals, like, especially in the United States, crystals are a big deal and, carry heavy meaning, and so when I told my Baba that, that I have my crystals around and I was gonna put them on my altar, he laughed at me. He's like, "Please don't put them on your altar." And he was like, "In Ifa, crystals have no weight. They don't really mean anything. They're rocks." So there's no um, metaphysical properties tied to rocks. Um, Hey, Rouser, thanks for joining. I'm just talking this morning about Ifa. I know y'all can't see me, and that's okay. I tried to turn on my camera and it fritzed out on me. There was a glitch in the mainframe, and that's okay because I'm not made up anyway. I've got my bonnet on, which is pretty cool. Keeps my locks from frizzing up, but my hair's already frizzed. It's like a rooster because I had to sleep a couple nights without my bonnet. Um, so yeah, it's time. Excuse me, it's time for Salon Egg to open up, and so I can have a wash and retwist. And when I say a wash and retwist, this takes like 6 hours, and my hair does not dry for another, I don't know, 8 hours. So we start at like 9 in the morning, and my hair is not dry until the next day. It is crazy. And to wash my hair, adds like another 15 to 20 pounds because my hair soaks up so much water. And since I have a lot of locks, it makes it heavier. So it's like I'm stooped over trying to wash my hair. And that's one of the reasons that I mean, aside from the fact that black people's hair does not need to be washed all the time, and certainly not every other day. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, except for that I don't have to wash my hair every week, nor do I have to wash it every month. But I am going to get back in the habit of washing it at least every month and a half, because it's been 2 months now, and it's time to wash it. It's definitely time to wash it. So we're gonna do this. Not, I think Saturday maybe. This Saturday coming up. Yeah, because we don't have our podcast. So, yeah, we're gonna do it this Saturday. I might get my nails did. Y'all know what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, so that's what's going on. I am playing with my podcast machine, so let's see what we got going on here. Can y'all hear the little cheering? Let's hear the It's not really loud. Let me see if I can get it up a little bit louder. There we go. We'll do some music and then okay, cool. And I can change the effect. So that's Pro. Hi, how you doing? So I'm coming to you live and in effect. I'm gonna bring in the new music. We're gonna drop first with Oya Osun Kemi, Oya Wumi. You know, I like this little microphone. I figure I could read something in my voice like this. Hi, my name is Onyx Rose Oya Wumi Osun Kemi. Or I could talk like this, or I could talk like this. I have. Oh, let me turn this shit down. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I have been working on voice training. I've stopped because honestly, um, I just either I'm going to get vocal cord surgery, or I am going to just wing it, you know. So, so when I want to talk like this, I think I say rise. So I'm going to try and talk like this right now. And in talking like this, no, I can't. I'll read something in English because that will be easier. Oh, come back. Yeah, there we go. All righty. So, no, I don't have anything really good to read right now. Oh, I don't have anything really good to read. So I will just keep on talking and see if I can keep my voice up like this for a minute. I wish I could move my camera around. I have like right in front of me in the corner here, I have an ace flag that has a pan heart in the middle. If you don't know, asexual is the purple, white, gray, and black flag. And the pan flag, well, oh, I can't even show you. The pan flag is ugly. It's blue, yellow, and this pinkish color. Um, Coral? I don't know what you call it. Pink, coral. It's just not all that sexy. So, and I've been over this before. The bisexual flag is pretty. It's a lot better than the pansexual flag. Although Egg was pointing out to me the differences between bisexual and pansexual, and I'm still not 100 on that. There's something called omnisexual that, all of these terms right here, bi, omni, and pan. And actually, there's something called polysexual. And polysexual, I don't really know anything about either. So if anybody knows anything about these, in the comments, please let me know really quickly. So let's see, I'm changing effects again, and this one sounds pretty cool. It's got a little bit of effect, so I'm going to do a little echo on that. Drop this a little bit. Yeah, this podcast machine is badass. Egg did a stitch for me that says, "I think of you in colors that don't exist." I love words. I love words that are put together to make art. And Egg is definitely an artist. She's done like a lot of cool shit for me. She is definitely one of the, and I say this because I am entirely biased, but one of the best artists, living artists I have seen. Now, her problem is that she doesn't like to do things twice. Her mind jumps from project to project, and that's great. But if we could get a shop set up with one of a kind items that could be sold, then and someone who can market it, because unfortunately, I hate marketing. And I did not go to school for marketing, and I do not want to go to school for marketing. I don't want to go to business school. That shit sounds so boring. But I realize in that boringness that if I want to open any kind of store, any kind of way, then yes, I need to learn about the business. When I was younger and therefore dumber, I wanted to be a store owner. And I'm just joking. That is not dumber at all. That is awesome. I wanted to be a bookshop owner. I've worked in bookstores a majority of my life. And so have always loved the idea of being around books, sniffing books, putting them up, so on and so forth, and helping people find books that really should touch the hearts of what they read and what they read and how it colors their life, at least for a little bit. I have books that have stuck with me for years, years. And I'm sure all of y'all in the comments do too. If you read, like, oh, I can't remember who said it, but like, it's something like, give a child a book and you will give them a world, or something like that. And that's amazing. It is true. I remember reading when I was younger, and I read, and up until my eyes got really bad, I was reading 2 or 3 books a week. I could sit down and knock out a book in a day, if it was good. The most tragic part of my life, well, okay, I shouldn't say the most tragic part, because that would be a stretch, but one of the tragedies in my life is not being able to read. And to be completely honest, in 2016, I had a major depressive episode that lasted about 8 months. So during that 8 months, I couldn't do any. I literally could not do anything. I forgot how to do things. If you've had a major depressive episode, then you understand that yes, you can forget how to do things. You can forget to do things. Your brain becomes sluggish. Things that are normal for you become abnormal. What was normal for me was reading. For 8 months, I did not pick up a book. And then after that, I found that I just couldn't concentrate. I couldn't read. And so now, as a consequence, all my reading's done online, which is fine. I can, increase the font size, and that allows me to read. And, what this means is I actually read more now than when I was reading books. I read articles, I read snippets. I get stuff from social sites, like Substack that has great articles. Politico, all these others, Ground News. A lot of the independent news orgs, because we're not going with the bullshit, are we? Mm-mm. No, 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 no. But yeah, so this has been fun. I want to read one more thing, if I can pop into my notes and see if there's anything good. um I usually start nightmares. No, still days. Let's try this. December 15th, 2025. Mm. Did I write this? Holy shit. Let me just look at this. I can't read this. I can't read this. Um yeah, I wrote this. I don't know if I'm gonna read this. First of all, let me change the effect. Okay, I like this effect a little bit better. I Let's see. So we're going to read a little bit of this. Still days lead to cold nights, where the wind whips and strips trees barren of their leaves. A phone is not a shield, neither is a body, but sometimes we become them. Shields hold truths that we never thought we could speak of. Words spilling silently, severely, bullets carving pain out of harsh misunderstandings, fears of being misunderstood, or what's worse, fears that words will open long, festering wounds, better thought by everyone as being left scabbed over, unwavering and unanswered. Hidden in the snows and bitter colds of December, we hold stories that we tell ourselves so that those deep wounds aren't ripped open, so that we are not silently broken down. Let me see you stripped down to the bone. We all know, though, that until we confront the cold, blustery conditions of December and we remove the shields that hide our emotions, barren and naked, allowing them to rise to the top and swirl and blow like the strong wind that whips off the waters of lakes and other larger bodies of water, of which we are 97%. Unless we tell our truths amongst family, chosen, and not familial by blood, we will always be shields that cannot be broken, that cannot experience true freedom, all while experiencing all the regret that comes with that shame. I want to be naked, stripped barren like said trees in December, washed over by the winds of January and all the cold winter months. Spring will allow, oh no, let's see, in all the cold winter months, we will never see the spring. We will never allow our emotions to float high, um, to promise of real truth. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. That's something I was writing, and I was just writing on my iPhone. It just keeps on going. I want to rewrite this poem, but to do so would be to bleach and sanitize my thoughts, messy and unencumbered by recent events. I am not a political, and my fury burns bright. But right now, all I can think of is you and why you don't visit anymore on these dark, cold nights. And so it does kind of work. It gets better. It is something that I will have to definitely work on. I do write a little bit of poetry. I find more poetry. I'm not going to read that one though because that's a lot of pain. Um, wow. Okay. So maybe one day I'll get on here and read my poetry like with the camera off because that's a great idea. Shit. Give me just a second, y'all. I might do that right now. Not Substack, but we'll go to oh, by the way, yeah, I'm on Substack, but I'm also on um onyxrose.net. That is where I do all my writing. So if you want to see what I write now, then that's where you need to go, onyxrose.net. Um, you know, onyxrose.net. I'm sorry, it's taking a long time to punch this in. There we go. Oh, hi there. It's called Onyx Rose Presence, Not Permission. The background is purple and pink because purple is my color and pink goes well with it. By the way, if you do go to my site, you do open one of my articles or one of my writings, and you do see the ad, go ahead and click on the ad because it doesn't do anything to you or spam you, but it does create and give it creates and allows us to continue to create give this emotional labor and mental labor that we put in when we do these writings. And when I say we, I'm talking about the collective. I'm part of a collective, yay. But of course, for me in particular, so click the ad. You get to look at it for a minute, and then you can close it really quickly. It gives me like $1. I can get a cup of coffee. Not a cup of coffee because I don't drink coffee. I do drink tea. So I do have my buy me a coffee on my site. You can buy me a coffee, but it's usually for a black tea, and that usually will keep me going. Um, so let's see. What can I read that I think would not be too crazy? Okay. So who's in here, first of all? Let me see. There's only 9 people. Okay, good. Then I can read this. Hmm. First of all, let me change the effect. Original. Okay, okay. Yeah, I like this. Hold on. Pro, pro, pro. Okay, one, two, three. One, two, three. Okay, changing this, changing this. We're gonna go. Okay, pop. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So this is the one that we're gonna use. Um. Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to do it on my phone because it's gonna be easier. For some reason, the formatting on my website online is kind of crazy, but the formatting on my phone is perfect. And so let's see. We're going to my site, onyxrose.net. Oh, you can go ahead and subscribe too, because it's a wonderful piece of peace. You know what I'm saying? It's got some stuff on there. Um, so here we go, y'all. Here we go, y'all. And keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Um, that is Erica Badu, if you don't know. Um, so this is called Hmm. This is called a confession, revelation. Okay. I thought it said no, although I can't be sure. Maybe I didn't. I was drunk, blown on that day, and hanging with Molly. I thought I said no. I can't be sure, though. Can a guy, or more accurately, a penis haver who was assigned male at birth, actually and honestly be believed? Can he really think he said no? I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. Dragged into the bathroom, door locked, piss all over the place, rank, fetid smell, posters covering the wall, boxed room, toilet, sink, and mirror. We take out our bullets, take a hit of that white girl, having left our drinks at the table. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure, as you violently rubbed your hand across my crotch. I thought I pushed your hand away laughing. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. The mirror betrayed me as I saw myself get hard. The same mirror held my shame. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. Can I have consented while intoxicated? I already know the answer to that, but no one will ever believe that I am not the one who initiated this. They unbuckled my belt, unbuttoned the top one, unzipped the zipper, and my pants hit the floor, mixing with the piss and who knows what else. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure, as they grabbed my dick and put it in their mouth. I got hard. I thought I said no. They pulled down my underwear. I think this is how it goes, and put me rather strongly in them. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. When it was over, did we even use protection? What a strange sensation to stumble out of a bathroom in a club to cheers and whistles while lost in the murky waters of intoxication and disbelief. They bowed. I thought I said no. I've told exactly one person, and I'm hopeful that they will understand the amount of time I repressed and then sat with this. I'm pretty sure I was sexually assaulted decades ago. Will people really believe that I said no through this haze? I remember the guilt and shame as people high fived me and brought me more drinks. The memories hit, swirl, cover my head, then drift like fog in the morning air. a smell, a song, the right conditions, the perfect storm for information escaping the deepest, furthest recesses of my mind, my brain, my cells, my skin, electric shock, waking and pulling it back to the front and dominating all thought. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. I may have bragged at the time, my youthful mind. Uh-oh, hold on. Oh no. Okay, so I'm back. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. I may have bragged at the time, my youthful mind in the crowd throwing the cheers. I may have bragged about it, and that definitely would have been a coping mechanism. I am not sure. I thought I said no, though I can't be sure. This is what I remember, fuzzy as it is. Some embarrassment mixes with the shame of not knowing exactly, of not being sure, of not being able to adequately explain how I felt in the moment. Grief, shame, arousal, pain, anxiety, name it. I am trying. I built a wall in my mind so strong, but with these words, I am taking the first steps to break this cage. I was sexually assaulted in a bathroom of a club over 2 decades ago. This is my confession. This is my revelation. The end. So, that is something that I wrote a little bit ago, and it is what it is. What's that? No, I won't. That is something I wrote a little bit ago, and so you know what that means. And I should have said trigger warning for anybody or content warning. I'm sorry. Um, that is, I do write pretty raw poetry. I don't really write a lot of fluffy stuff because there have been, of course, there have been fluffy parts in my life. That's not, I'm not gonna lie and say there haven't been. I've had a great life, y- considering the fact that I'm still alive. I've had a great life. I've had some things happen to me that have not been so great, and I've repressed and are now coming back to the forefront. And this is one of them. Um, the fact that I can sit here and talk, and it's easier without all being able to see my face and only hear my voice. But yeah, it's one of those things that that it, it- like it was a smell. It was a smell. It was a certain smell, and like my mind exploded, and I remembered everything. I remembered how it felt. I remembered the guilt. I remembered the shame. I remembered the arousal. I remembered the smells. I remembered the taste. I remembered everything. Um, and I still do. Um, and it, it, I never really talked about it. I told Egg. Egg was the first person I told. And then from there, I've been just telling people, um, all of whom are not my therapist, by the way. So, yes, my therapist appointment is coming up soon. And so I will be talking to them and letting them know as well. So I can get the proper help that I need, just talk that shit out, because that's necessary. But that poem is called, I don't remember what it's called. It's called a confession, revelation. Um, and so I do write a lot of poetry. I call myself the bloody awful poet. So I don't think all of my poetry is good. I do think I have a way with words on some of them. But my it's more just rambles and mumblings and pictures and colors. and that's what I like to do. So um, there's not a lot. I thought I've written more poetry than I have on here. There's only like one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll have to pull some of my old poetry out and put it up here. Because some of it did not make it over from Substack. I can tell you that. Um, I may have to go take care of that. Hey, Robes, what's up? How you doing? Um, hey, Assemblywoman Deborah is it Mazzarelli? I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Um, yeah. So I just read this poem, Robes. I'm not going to read it again because it's yeah because it's kind of triggering. But then I can read this one. Why not? I'll read one more and see if I can get the feeling in this one because I haven't read this one. I wrote it and then posted it, and that was it. I never tried to refine it or anything like that. So here we go. Let me set up my microphone. It's everything's kind of moving around here. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. 2 minutes, 19 seconds. This is not long at all. This is good. Okay. So here we go. This piece of B She is called 18 26 12 15 a.m. Um, yes. Um, every night feels the same. Okay, so that's not how I would say it. I've got to figure out, like in my head, I actually have how I would say it. But when I actually say it, that's not how I would actually say it, you know? So every night feels the same with you no longer in my bed. Every waking hour is pain with the pictures of your smile stuck in my head. I stayed when you were gone, still here in this nameless gray place. I still stay, hoping, but I admit it has been too long for you to take up the spoons I have in this space. Hot tea getting cold, sitting on the counter next to me. I don't even notice the steam disappear. That's okay. I pretend here's where you want to be. When I look in the mirror, squinting hard enough, I swear you appear. I still smell your scent. I kept the pillowcase. I bought your perfume to spray in my room. But your beauty in my mind is losing a race. Then I saw you on TV at the church with your groom. I took a sip of tea. It was cold, blunt between my lips, smoke curling up my face. I'm tired. I'm tired, and this pain is getting old. I don't really know what to do now. I guess I'll try without curling. All the fire dissipates from my eyes and the breath escapes my lungs. You were mine, not any of those other guys. I am no longer holding on. The blood in my ears thrum. There is no dream, no hope for me. My smile is not for anyone. It is for the allure of the void I can see. And with my final steps over the ledge, I am open. I am free, a bird in flight, no fear, no hesitation. And try as they might, I have achieved transformation. Yay! Oh, uh-oh, there's some more. In birth I give death. No, in death I give life. I deleted me from your memory. I smile knowing I will cause you no strife, because my death is the only way it could be. And that's the end. Hey, Jason. So I kind of fucked that up, but yeah, I write a lot of like like boo 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 poetry. It's not because I've got a boo 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 mind. I do, but like my mind is still happy and shit. But sometimes I go to like little dark places, and I don't mind that one bit. You know, let's see. Swirls of color. I do things with color because color represents, for everybody, color represents types of things. So swirls of color leak and spiral, jump up and down, movement fluid and dripping. Liquid color pops and pools around my feet. The colors at first were mixed, a kaleidoscope dizzying, a cacophony of beautiful sound, with each color pinging a different frequency. Everything I have known prior is up for grabs. Colors turn into shapes surrounding my feet, now rising slowly, circular waves, not of sorrow or pain, which is unusual. Instead, as this menagerie of color, sparkling, twinkling, igniting, and disturbing the night sky. In this circular, wavy, pungent, juicy smoke and ash, explosions of pink, oranges, reds liquefy the night sky. And surrounding me, I look down at my chest. Again, I look down, marveling at what has happened and what continues to happen. As each pass, each circular movement up the shell of my soul, the colors are activating me, loosening my stiff body, relaxing my mind to the point of little resistance. And why would I? Once again, I look down. It is now I can make out a few colors distinctly. Some purple, iris, aubergine, thistle, sensations of wine, plums, grapes, all jammy, creme de violette, purple, violet, endless deep hues, burgundies, browns, deep, sexy, round, shapes moving up and down until waves of energy hit me. I'm trying to burn these memories of you, but the purple and lavender strands of your hair bring me right back, still here, still blue, until my head, yes, my head, a whirl of colors. I'm pretending this is nothing and trying to let the moment pass me by. I'm trying not to think of you, but the smell of the colors surrounding my head smell like flowers. Deep and husky voice announces itself, pops in my brain, and runs riot. I am not myself, yet I am. I am reveling in the duality of my rational and fantastical mind. The fantastical side, wild irises blooming and growing madly, without care, without permission. The rational side, screaming for creativity, for blooming, for desire. Colors swirl, take shape, smell like perfume. Olfactory explosions meeting cold earth. I am back. I am grounded, almost lost. I made my way back from the madness. Colors separate. There is no dichotomy here. The swirling, shape shifting colors have been my companions for many years. And now I understand that this too is a power. If the dark becomes my home, I don't have to run away. Swirling colors will always keep me here and safe. Okay, so I'm a hey Chris, thank you. Good morning. I'm a budding poet. I have written poetry my whole life, and some of it, and that's why I call myself the bloody awful poet. I am named after William the Bloody Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so I have thankfully taken on his name, and under his name I write poetry. Um, and I do, it's a lot of fun. It is. Sometimes it is a little bit of work, but I write poetry to music. The way sometimes it works is it will be a fully formed idea in my head or a fully formed shape or sound. And then I have to work around that in order to get back to the top. Or sometimes, I'll hear a word and build off of that word. The main thing I don't do is I don't go back and work on it and then change it and work on it and change it. Now, some of them I do, I've got to be honest, but for the most part, I don't. And that's to my detriment. I understand that. I am not a trained poet. I have not been to school for creative writing. I just love writing and I love poetry. Um, uh, I love poetry too, Robes. Poetry is a rare form of expression. Yes, yes, we don't get that enough. And I agree 100%. It takes some vulnerability to be a poet, to excavate your mind, to pull out the deepest, darkest um, desires and issues and pain that you may have and transmute that into a form of liquid gold. And that's beauty, you know, that's what beauty is. Beauty is poetry. Poetry also has sharp elbows. So while poetry can be beauty, it can be destructive. It can destroy you, you know, with words. And I love that. I love to be destroyed with words. I love to be overjoyed with words. I love to be overwhelmed. I love for my emotions to be overwhelmed. Words can do that. Words have power. That's why when you know when you are doing spells, you were using words. You were literally spelling. You were literally witchcrafting. You know, you were crafting. You were spelling. Do it, Robes. Drop it. Everybody, yes. You know. Oh, I can't. My phone is not. I mean, my camera's not working. Um, but yes, Robes dropped his link in there for his book. Y'all go ahead and get it. It's called A Robe Full of Poems. You know, it's on Amazon.com. Support Robes. Go ahead and get that book of poetry. Yeah. So you know, I could read some more, but I'm not going to for today. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and get off because it's early in the morning and my Baba is calling me. And I know he is going to be upset that I have not called him back. Um, so, um, with that, I say, Oboru, Oye, Oboshishe, so say, Ya, Oya, Ya, Oya, Ya, Oya, Mope, Aloni. And good night. Okay. Good morning. And I will see y'all at 1 o'clock on Wendy the Druids, The Gathering. Come check us out on Substack. I think we'll be on PeerTube and on Blue Sky, so on and so forth. Okay, Chris, you too. Everybody in chat, thanks for showing up. It's really nice of y'all. I appreciate it. And I appreciate y'all letting me just kind of read some shit that I would not read if I were on camera. You know, that is something that I would not have done, especially the confession revelation one. That was the first time I read that online, y'all. That was the first time I've ever read that. And I almost tripped up on it. So, but you know, I'm proud of myself. I didn't trip up. I didn't start crying. It is a traumatic memory. So, um, but yeah. Anyway, y'all give me a subscribe. OnyxRose.net. Like I said, click on the ads. It doesn't hurt y'all, but it funds me and the creativity, the emotional stuff. Why no camera for poetry? Just scary. No, my camera fritzed out today. I don't know what happened. Like I was in the waiting room and it worked. And then I have this thing where my cursor multiplies. So I have to shut my clamshell. And when I shut my clamshell and reopened it, the camera didn't work anymore. So the camera is not working. So it's not just for the poetry. It just so happened that since the camera it wasn't working, I decided to read some poetry. Well, you're right. You know, reading poetry on camera is a lot more vulnerable than I am ready for right now, because you know I have people who can see me. If I'm doing it myself and I'm on camera, then that's fine. You know, but if I'm with people in an active live and we're sharing stories, then that would be a little hard. Yeah. Um, but you know, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, I'm going to be live at 1 p.m. Eastern with the poet Miranda. And the poet Miranda, if you don't know anything about Miranda, she's a great poet. She will be reading her own poetry live on the show. We'll be talking about music, life, and other stuff. Um, but she's good people. She Yeah, she's good people. We'll be babbling for maybe an hour or so. And then, you know, on Friday is also Trauma Talk or The Gathering with Wendy the Druid, who puts that on. Um, you know, I'll be live throughout the days. Oh, support Tuesdays with Two Gays. Brandon Elrich is so gay. and So Cute, and Sturge writes it down. Those two put that on at I don't know, like 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern or 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I think it's 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Check that show out. It gets a little rowdy. And then next Monday, so a week from today, me, Brandon the Cutie, and Sturge will be live, and live in effect, where we get crazy. We play Fuck Mary Swipe. And since they are two gay guys, and I'm pan, omni, whatever, I just like everybody. Okay, let me change this. I like everybody except for usually cis guys. Cis, and not just cis guys. Let me change that. Cis hetero guys. And it has to be a certain kind of cis hetero guy. So if it's a feminine cis hetero guy, I can be turned on by him. If it's a femme cis gay guy, certainly. And that's why I think Brandon's so cute. Um, if it's a trans man, of course, anything, everything. I just find cis het men to not be the standard. And have I watched Schitt's Creek? Yes, I have, and I love the whole, the wine thing. That I cried when I heard it. I cried, absolutely bawled, absolutely bawled. Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. That's what I'm talking about. I like the wine, not the label. And like, and he was saying, like, I experimented with a rosé, but that was a little awkward. And how she was like, I thought, you liked red wine, and he was like, well, I like red wine, but I also like white wine, and I tried a rosé. Anyway, the very first time I heard that, I, I mean, I just absolutely lost it. Absolutely lost it. I was like, yes, this is it. This is what people need to hear. It explains it so easily. You know, People need to understand this, and it's beautiful, and yeah, it is amazing. Um, so Schitt's Creek was hilarious. I'm hoping that they don't do that. Oh, Chris, oh, thank you so much. I know she was so happy. She was probably very happy to hear that. And thank you for being. I assume you're a great uh, person to your trans daughter, and that's amazing. We need more people like you. Honestly, this world is going to shit, and trans people are the number one target right now. So thank you. Um, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Good. Okay, now I'm back. I had to control my emotions. I get very emotional. Especially when it comes to trans kids. Trans kids have it rough right now. They're getting slammed. The fact that they cannot have puberty blockers, the fact that they're going to have to go through puberty, is cruel and unusual. Not unusual, it's just cruel. It's just absolutely cruel. Um, the fact that they're already starting conversion therapy in the prison system, taking HRT away from trans people, and housing trans women in the men's prison systems, which of course is not safe at all. So someone like me with a deep voice and an F on my license, because I did change my gender and my name. Um, So someone like me with a deep voice, and not necessarily looking 100% like what would be considered a cis female or cis woman, and that's not what I'm trying to look like at all. So let's not get it twisted. But you know, I could see some issues, and that is a problem. So that is one of the things that I think about every time I leave the house, and it's unfortunate though, but it is something I think about. I'm trans, I'm black, and all it's going to take is one pissy top, and that's it. You know, and one bad day. Um, and it's not just me, it's Egg. Egg has to worry about that shit too. You know, we have to actively check wherever we want to go. If we want to go out of town, we have to do research, hardcore research. What's the percentage of ethnicities? What was the percentage of murders, of break-ins, of rapes? What is the percentage of trans people? What is the percentage of black people? What is the percentage of interracial relationships? The list goes on and on and on. But right now, it is centered around, will I be safe as a trans person, a non-binary person? Um, if people see me in short skirts, not skirts, dresses, and like big boots, will I be okay? Um, and the answer to that generally is yes, because I've not had anybody really come up to me yet. Um, I am prepared just in case someone does. And I'm not saying, hold on. When I say I am prepared, I don't mean I've got like a gat or anything like that. I'm not going to be like blam blam. Not going to pew pew because I do have bipolar disorder, and having a gun in the house is not safe for me at all. That being said, I do have swords and I do have knives, and I do have enough of them that could really hurt people. Hurt people? Nah. Kill people? Yes. So also hurt people. We do have to have some kind of protection. And they're stashed all around the house. No, you don't shut up. Keep on. Oh, boo. This big white cis goober has your sixth friend. Thank you. Chris, I don't mean to be like all bitchy at that. But I do have cis het white friends who are great people. I'm just talking about like my personality and dating. I tend to skew towards gay men and gay women. I'm sapphic as hell, so my skew is towards women, um, both trans women and okay. So when I say women, I include cis women in that. Um, Trans women are always women, so I do happen to include cis women. Um, Cis hetero women, not so much. Because I'm queer, I stick in the queer family. Trying to date a hetero woman just doesn't work. Um, you know, um, but Chris, thank you so much once again for keeping your daughter safe. It really means the world to me as a trans person, as a person who lost their parents and doesn't have their parents' support. Well, my parents are finally coming around, but when I came out, I basically didn't talk to them for 2 years. Um, and we did not have a relationship up until maybe 2 years ago. So we're still mending bridges and building bridges. They were not supportive of me at all. As a matter of fact, I lost all my friends too, which is the classic trans narrative. Person comes out, loses everybody, says, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway, and does it, and makes it out the other side. Or, I mean, let's hope that's the classic narrative. The actual classic narrative is another thing, and I think we all know what that is. But my narrative, my life, my story is that at 42. And we all know what 42 is. And if you don't know what 42 is, look up Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I at 37, I gave myself 5 years and said, by 42, if I don't transition, that is the end of my life. And I have had attempts before, so I was serious. At 42, I decided to transition, and it saved my life. Literally saved my life. It saved my. This is why I'm here now. This is why I can be here now and talk to trans people, talk to the trans younger people, and let them know that yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may be hard, they may try and hold us down, but we can stand the test of time because we've always been around, and people have always venerated us. We are not scum. We are not like the thing that they make us out to be. We should be held up to a higher regard. Trans are beautiful. Trans people are beautiful. Non-binary people are beautiful. Gender non-confirming people, intersex people. Although sometimes they consider themselves part of the community, sometimes they don't. Just the whole community. Oh, you can't hear me. Not sure if you're stuck or if you're on mute. Oh no, hold on. Can you hear me now? Hold on. Oh no, can you hear me? Let's see. Can you hear me? Have an amazing day. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace out. Nobody can hear me. I'm going. Have a great day.